And I want to bring in David Muir, who's a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And Aaron, I know you were listening along to the president's remarks there. When it came to Israel and Hamas, it was really kind of interesting. The president at one point saying that, it's not just Hamas having to worry about hell to pay with the U.S. He mentioned essentially there are 59 other countries that were in favor of this peace deal that would be against Hamas if they didn't disarm. What do you make of the pressure campaign with that?
Well, the president has threatened before. Thanks for having me. He's threatened Hamas before, and it's clear what is implied here, and clearly what Netanyahu would like to see, as well as his right wing, is a resumption of a military campaign, which the Israelis are convinced will be necessary to finish hollowing out Hamas as a military organization and wrongly assessing that somehow they'll be able to destroy it as a political reality in Gaza. I think that's the pressure point. At the same time, let's be very clear. The president has done something that none of his Democratic or Republican predecessors have done. I was in every administration from Jimmy Carter to Bush 43. President opened up a direct dialogue with Hamas in March, and then authorized Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to continue to talk to them at Sharm el-Sheikh. And one of the reasons Hamas signed on to phase one, Hamas did not sign on to all of the president's plan. The president was incorrect in that. But one of the reasons they did sign on to phase one was because of these personal assurances and these pressure and incentives from the of the dialogue from the Trump administration and pressure from the Qataris, the Turks, and the Egyptians. Look, I think what you saw here is an extraordinary demonstration of two leaders. Both are incredibly adept at politics, but also the two of them have taken the art of the con to a pretty proficient level, both in their own domestic politics. I think that they need one another. Trump needs Netanyahu to make sure his Gaza plan, and let's be clear, we are not moving into phase two anytime soon, but he needs Netanyahu to continue to nurse it along so it doesn't crater. And Netanyahu needs Donald Trump for one major objective, and that is in 2026, where the elections occur in the spring or in October when the government goes to term, to get reelected. What Trump said about Netanyahu today is extraordinary. I mean, he said several times and in several different ways, without Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel would not exist. That's precisely the kind of rhetoric that Netanyahu needs to hear, because Trump is more popular in Israel than he is. Yeah. And that is a critical objective of the prime minister.
Yeah, well, and that's a really important point. I notice it whenever that one reporter who asked a question, and the president kind of out loud wondered if she would have a job if it had not been for Netanyahu, because in his words, he didn't think that Israel would have existed, and he also motioned over to Secretary Hegseth, who seemed to be nodding in agreement. But I am curious, whenever it comes to disarming Hamas, what is the holdup on the Hamas side there? Why haven't they agreed to that part of the plan?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great question. Look, you can look at the decommissioning, demilitarization process in Northern Ireland as an example. Good Friday Agreement. It started in 1998. It concluded in 2005. And that decommissioning of weapons was done by an international body headed by a Canadian general, and it offered the IRA power sharing at the end of the road. That's not what the purpose of demilitarization is for Hamas. It's a ticket into obliteration. So for any number of reasons, Hamas is going to be reluctant to disarm, and no international stabilization force composed of Arab or Muslim peacekeepers are going to deploy in the 47% Gaza that Hamas now controls if, in fact, they don't have assurances that Hamas won't demilitarize. So frankly, we're stuck. Gaul may have been divided into three parts, as Julius Caesar said. Well, Gaza's divided into two. And it looks to me that like 2026 is going to just harden those divisions.
David Muir, I appreciate that perspective.